You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? For sure, bro. That's hard. I want to piggyback off of what I asked you a little earlier as far as when you start trying to engage with the culture. And what I mean by that is when was the first time you heard somebody rap and you understood it and you was like, hold on, that nigga snap for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Well, you like 10, 11, 12, and you really, the lyrics really starting to jump out and mean something to you where you understood everything. And that shit was hard. Cause at first you just listen to music. You 7, 8,
You
9.
just first you just
You know what I'm
listening to
saying?
music,
You
you
just
like,
listen to
oh, you like,
music.
jump around.
Come on, but then at
Um,
some point that shit click because your brain keep developing, and at some point that
all
bitch
right.
hit. You know what I'm saying? I remember being like 11, thinking Mia X was going crazy on Masterpiece shit. Like I was like, hey, I don't know, but shout it going wow.
And you know, a lot of people try to give the a lot of people try to jump out there, bro, and give like I think the standard answer, especially from our era, and be like, oh yeah, Tupac, Biggie, and I'm like, I respect them niggas, I love them to death. I know what they were to the culture, but I was too young. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
really
for
feel like to
sure.
grasp the weight of what they was really saying.
Hmm.
Um, the first hip hop album, to be real with you, and I mean this is respect to all Atlanta artists I listened to growing up, even Ti, everybody. The first hip hop album that really fucking grabbed me was, believe it or not, bro, I was 17, where I really just was like, oh shit. Like
Uh-huh.
I been had was understanding what people were saying
Yeah.
and what was going on, but
Mm-hmm.
for it to really grab me and be like, oh shit, this is relatable. This nigga seeing the deeper shit in the world that I'm like been understanding. That
Yeah.
nigga Lupe Fiasco, bro.
That's
Food and
hard,
Liquor.
bro.
I
Food and
went and
Liquor was
grabbed Lupe Fiasco
incredible.
shit. 17. That was the first. Every other CD I had before that was burnt from. Sorry,
Oh
sorry, Tip,
yeah.
sorry, Tip, sorry, Jeezy, sorry, everybody. You know, just nothing.
They know
We
what
just in
era they
that
came
era.
from. They know what era they came from.
We just in that era. But you know what I'm saying? The first album I put on, and I was like, damn, it's not to say them boys' music didn't have no meaning or something, but the way my brain works and the way I was viewing the world and shit, and I was like, I could relate to this. So I'd be like, man, it is people out here thinking on a thinking about the same type of things I'm thinking about. That nigga Lupe, bro.
For
Believe it or
sure.
not, bro.
That cover was hard.
Food and liquor, bro.
Yeah, that cover, the art on that bitch, that shit was hard. Like that Food and Liquor shit was
Crazy, bro.
hard. Yeah, that shit hard. Like, and then listening to it, it's like, damn, because I wasn't even rapping yet and I wasn't even on it yet. So it's like, oh, your art really supposed to
Yeah,
personify or bring to life your lyrics and
right,
shit. You know what I'm saying? So when you
right.
hear that album, you like, oh, it makes sense that he picked this picture right here. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Let me
saying?
tell you, because like let me tell you how green I was though. He got me out my box because for a minute, it's like I didn't really know how to express myself other than through, like, I didn't know how to express myself in a creative space. I was
Okay.
always a gifted writer. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Even in
Yeah.
school and everything. But I had not gotten to the point of expressing myself in a creative space. And get my daughter, she be trying to
Oh
be on
no.
me.
It's
But
all
like you
good, bro.
good. But I had not gotten to a point of expressing myself in a creative space yet. Uh and that shit opened me up because in my mind, you know, growing up here in Atlanta, the type of music that we was on the way to sing was, I was in my mind when niggas say artist, I'm like, well, I'm not a rah rah shit, whatever the case may be. So I'm like, oh, I guess you can't necessarily be a rapper, quote unquote. You get what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
nigga wasn't even thinking along those lines. You know, I always use expression within myself. I got journals and journals and shit where I would just
Yeah,
write
for
different
sure.
shit. But that nigga Lupe opened me up and made me see like, bro, you want a different mindset or a different wave. Not even that I was exactly what he was. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gonna be able to relate to what you got going on.
That's tight, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it give people a little bigger scope on who you are, cause for that to be the first name you say, you see what I'm saying? That put a nigga in the frame of mind, like, oh, all right, cause if they ain't heard nothing yet, it's like, all right. If he say he like Lupe, then when they hear you, it ain't gonna be no surprises. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like,
Facts.
okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But I was thinking,
Yeah.
like, I'm a big fan of intros, bro. You know what I'm saying? And we come from that era of hip hop, like intros and
Right.
skits, and you know what I'm saying, and all that shit. Now somehow got lost in this streaming era, bro. And I just always wondered, why is that? And do you think they coming back? You know what I'm saying?
Um. Well, and I don't mean this in a derogatory manner because I gotta check myself sometimes as I get older. I'm just it's from an objective view. It's like shit popcorn. If a
That's
nigga
crazy,
only
man.
putting a song up at a time, and it's 1 minute and a quarter or 2 minutes and 30 seconds or whatever the case may be, these niggas trying to keep that shit short, bop in, bop out, because everybody's attention span is so short and there's so much music floating around right now. You get what I'm
Man, yeah,
saying?
yeah, I get that.
I think niggas are not big on the intros and shit. Everybody on some shit where they just trying to get to it. They just want to be heard. You know what I'm saying? They don't. I think it's a situation of people not trusting listeners to want more, which at the same time, you got to kind of go with how shit is. Most listeners ain't wanting that much more, in my opinion, nowadays,
For sure.
because it's so much music readily available. So you got to almost grab a nigga within like, you know what I'm saying?
5, 6
Like
seconds.
5 seconds of that shit coming on, you got to grab their ass and hold on tight. You know what I'm saying? So niggas ain't really thinking about the intros or the intro. You got to think about it though. Even when you use the term intro, right? It's an introduction, but that word or that prefix also goes on the term introspection.
Yeah.
So when you talk about an introduction, that is introspective in itself because my nigga, you're giving the background. You know what I'm saying? To this body of work or this song that's about to be introduced. You know what I'm saying? And right now, the way the world is working, I don't doubt the human capability to be introspective. People are not allowing the time in their life
for sure
for shit to be introspective.
I can go for that because I'm like, bro, I just be like, I was talking to somebody else about it, and I'm like, bro, I just don't. It all happened kind of suddenly, and like all of a sudden you look up and niggas is not doing it no more, bro. And that used to be some of what I used to look forward to during the CD era when you buying CDs. Like Ludacris used to have them skits, like niggas skits used to be crazy, bro. I used to love that. So I'd be like, man, you know, I still do my little rap shit, and I'd be like, I'm about to do this intro. Niggas will look at me fucking crazy. Like, nigga, look at you like, what intro? I'm like, oh yeah, that's just so for
intro,
me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, look at me like, oh,
what you
tripping, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, let me readjust, recalibrate. Let's try to be urban. You know what I mean? But you know, you nigga, you know what I'm saying? Nigga just don't want to lose all of it though. You know, so I just want to ask a nigga, especially a nigga my age, like, bro, how you feel about this shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit crazy. You know,
that's a dope question.
You know what I'm saying? But
I'm sure people you really care about this shit too, though.
Sure,
you know what
bro.
I'm saying? Because that's the first time I ever got a question like that, and I done several interviews, so it lets me know. Just like even though we know you on some artistry shit, but just on some hip hop or culture shit, it lets me know like how much you really care about this shit.
Man, what?
You know what
I
I'm
be
saying?
like, bro,
from the way it was to the way it shifted.
That shit showed how a nigga, you know, just how a nigga was kicking it. You know, like I like that, bro. You know, like J. Cole did Too Deep for the intro. Nigga, that shit was so hard. You know what I'm saying? I was like, but this nigga, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, so and I think that might have been the last intro I heard from one of these niggas, man. That shit crazy. But yeah, I wanted to go into like I'm sure people have different favorites than you, but like what is the most popular song on your project? And is it also your favorite song? You know, as an artist myself, I know we feel differently about certain songs that the masses didn't necessarily respond to. You feel me? Like our favorite song will be something totally different from another nigga. So I'm like, you know which one is your most popular song with people, and is it also your favorite?
So the last project I released, the last full, like, and I can't even say full, but like EP type shit I released was in 2020 on that project, The Natural. I don't know if you got a chance to check that one out yet or not in full. But the song that everybody, I mean, even now when people repost shit, I mean, it could be on a random day, a nigga repost some shit and tag me, Levitate.
Okay.
I don't know if you got a chance to hear that song or
not. That's not one of the ones I got.
One that everybody like. So yeah, so it was on that project, and that's cool. It's but that's one of the ones that everybody kind of like identifies with. They feel that shit. Niggas always tell me, boy, goddamn, that Levitate. They like, nigga, your other shit.
It's cool. Yeah, it's hard.
I ain't taking from it. That shit hard too, but like that's hard. You know what I'm saying? And so I would have to say that on that particular, like, with that being my last project that I put out, that's probably like the song that everybody goes for. But believe it or not, I got a song called 45 Jordan that was just a freestyle that I did, like, you know what I'm saying? While I went in and cut loose, I had some mistakes in that shit. And I like, even in the freestyle, I appreciate it because even in the freestyle, I called out my own mistakes in the freestyle, like me fumbling over words, all kind of shit, but it was so fucking organic, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And the beat was just like, you know what I'm saying?
So that's
the
your
beat was
favorite.
riding so tough. For me, that's like a personal favorite.
That's what I'm
Even with
saying.
the idea behind it, the idea behind 45 Jordan and everything that was taking place in that time, you know what I'm saying? It makes it a personal favorite for me because I hold it here. You know what I'm saying? I know what place that shit came from. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even going to flex. Like on a technical aspect, I don't think that shit had my toughest bars in it or anything. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like your favorite always be something different than what everybody identify with. I always just thought that was super interesting, bro. Like I done had songs that nigga be like, bro, this shit here crazy. And I'd be like, yeah, that one tight. But you ain't hear what I said on this one, bro. I was going crazy. Like, you know,
Hey.
so it just be, I be like, I wonder what that disconnect is, man. You know what I'm saying? But you and we were speaking earlier about you with your songs and showing your song making ability, and you seem to focus on your bars more heavily in like past songs and like throughout your maturation process. You got songs like Note to Self and On Me, where you seem like you were letting people see your range a little bit. And was that by design?
Was it, bro? I think Note to Self On Me was muscle memory, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was the muscle memory of going through this shit fundamentally, kind of like we always talk about some hoop and shit, but it's like you done made so many layups and so many jump shots from this short corner, or you done did that turnaround jumper so many fucking times. I ain't trying to sound cocky, but it's like to somebody else that shit look like, oh shit, this nigga really, but like on those two, it was not a lot of thought put into it from a technical perspective and more thought put into it from what I was experiencing in life.
For sure.
If I could hold anything true on those tracks, I just came out on those tracks.
Yeah.
And it made those shits easy. Like those were two tracks that I did like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it was real life energy, real life emotion, real life thought behind that shit. And that's what made them even more thought provoking because life was provoking me to be on the shit that I was on in those songs.
I like
that shit was coming from a real fucking place.
Yeah, I just know I know Miroj as a rapper, like Barzy, and so for me to see that growth like that, you know what I'm saying, I was like, okay, so on Note to Self, I listened to it, like it's got a sound that I think most people can identify with. Like I listened to it 3 times back to back just to make sure I was feeling what I was feeling. You see what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, I bet a lot of people like this one. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it got a current sound too. You see what I'm saying? Like, cause a lot of niggas, they struggle trying to find that medium and be themselves and be current and sound kind of like what's going on. So it was like you being yourself and individuality personified, but you was in the current pocket. You know what I mean? And so I was like, okay, so people probably fuck with this one. You know what I mean?